probably the one thing that affects anime the most is time, as it correlates to an anime's relevancy. Here's a thing that I made up while I was pondering in the shower. This is a bell curve. In the middle, we have all the anime currently relevant in the year 2021. Jujutsukaisen, My Hero Academia, Dr. Stone. You get the idea. To the right, we have all the anime that are unknown, kinda like fish in the unknown depths of the sea waiting to be discovered. As time moves forward, anime in this unknown area will eventually become the relevant anime that will represent the middle portion. You might be wondering what's towards the left. Well, it's this. Or perhaps that. It's the anime that was once in the middle of that bell curve, but now it's not, as it's no longer relevant in the fast-changing anime industry. It's like bell-bottoms or men's shorts. During a brief time, they were once relevant, but not anymore. This is how every trending bell curve works. You might not see it now, but sooner or later, the anime that I mentioned earlier will no longer be relevant in 50 years. The anime that we consider old today, and that's in high quotations, will reach a certain age where it's no longer feasible to recommend it to anybody. Anime meets its end twice, when they stop making episodes and when people stop talking about it. Alert! Incoming important message. Stay at your seat at all times. Assuming that my audience is under the age of 30, how many movies can you list that were released in the 1970s compared to the movies that were released in the past 5 years? Unless you're one of those hardcore movie junkies, most people can name a lot of films released in the past 5 years compared to movies released in that entire decade. When Jaws came out, it was a movie that single-handedly broke the traditional barriers that blockbuster movies should be screened in the winter, yet Spielberg, the absolute Chad that he is, moved the release date of Jaws in the summer, and it still did extremely well. People thought he was nuts, but he literally flipped the middle finger and did it anyway. During that era, the movie and the story behind it was the talk around the country. Well, what about now? While it's occasionally thrown in the air, it will never reach peak relevancy compared to what it had in the mid-1970s. Funny enough, we're probably going to become one of those old people that tell our children that we remember a time when mega animes were the rage, and anime isn't the same as it used to be. Time doesn't slow down to keep these kinds of things relevant, which brings us to the main question of this video. Within our timeline, can old anime that sort of fell into irrelevancy still be good anime? Yes and no. Regardless of what you think, many people believe Evangelion is a timeless classic. In 3 years, its manga inception will reach 30 years. To many, it's an anime that some of you guys grew up with. However, when we're gone, what will the next generation think of it? Will they think of it the same way as we see it now? Kinda hard to say. Many of Osamu Tezuka's work, the man who brought manga to the point it is now only observed and duly noted. Why is that? Because while we, the newer generation, appreciate and still praise his work, it's hard to understand the people during the time who genuinely understood his work while he was still here. It was good during its time, but it's something that will definitely not pass in today's standards. As more and more anime are released and consumed for future generations, it becomes harder and harder to justify older work that was pushed by this irrelevant bell curve to be good. Because many of the people who have their doubts, they lack the authentic feeling of experiencing it during a time when it was relevant. But at the same time, old anime can still certainly be good, as we're living in a nice time where it's still okay to appreciate these older works that perhaps will forever be forgotten throughout the passage of time. And that's really about it. I don't want to take a lot of your time. I know you guys are busy. This isn't meant to be a video essay of some sort. I just quickly want to hear your guys' take. With everything that I just said about the changes of people's thoughts and opinions about older works that are becoming no longer relevant, can we take a step back and say that old anime is still considered to be good anime? Let me know what you guys think below and subscribe if you like. I also have a Twitter if you guys want to follow for notifications and sneak peeks of future videos. Okay, I rambled long enough. Go, stop watching. Go.